sandwich chain Jersey Mike's is looking to raise as much as $1.09 billion in an IPO. It's just the latest consumer-oriented company to join the U.S. listing rebound. For more, let's bring in Bloomberg IPO reporter Bailey Lipschultz. Bailey, I mean, it's pretty cool to get a sandwich-based IPO after everyone was so excited about, like, AI. I'm like, cool. Real-world stuff is coming to this market.
It's crazy how quickly things shift, Danny, right? We were talking about record-setting debuts for SK Hynix, for SpaceX. Everything around the AI infrastructure build-out had been kind of roaring, and now we're shifting as that fades away into the background, into some consumer names. So we do have the launch of Jersey Mike's. We are expecting potentially Cumberland Farms to launch its IPO process in the next day or so as well. So a pair of consumer companies looking to go public at a time where there's still very much uncertainty around the U.S. consumer.
So then how does Jersey Mike's growth strategy compared with other fast food chains? Because you did mention that they don't have as much of an international footprint as, like, say, Subway, which is why maybe that's why I know Subway.
Jersey Mike's is very much, or is only focused here in the U.S. and in Canada, but they brought back and partnered with with the founder of the company to expand in the U.K. So that's been their big pitch from an international perspective, is using their roots to build out the offering in the U.K. We were actually talking on our desk today about, like, okay, Danny, you spent some time living in the U.K. Does London really have a sandwich scene? California, where I'm from, doesn't have a deli scene.
It does, but it's like Italian sandwich. You know what I mean?
So
like
Jersey Mike's isn't Italian as well?
No, but they're like American Italian. It's absolutely different, Bailey.
Do they have sad lunch?
No, there are good ones, but they also do have sad lunch. Yeah, there's sad British food. On this, I mean, look, Blackstone has taken this and, like, run with it. There's so much marketing. They've had Danny DeVito almost not just being a spokesperson for Jersey Mike's, but for Blackstone too. I think he was in their Christmas video. But they've only held this company for less than 2 years, right? I mean, that's a pretty quick turnaround to IPO it.
It's a very quick turnaround, and that's kind of been the pitch. The funny thing is, you go back to the acquisition, which closed in January of last year, was, okay, what's Blackstone's strategy? Because this is a company that, for all intents and purposes, could have IPO'd at the time, was the pitch from bankers. Now you bring in Blackstone, you bring in an experienced leadership team, the team that helped lead Wingstop not too long ago. They're pros. When I talk to folks on the buy side, they're excited about this company. The big question comes back to, how does the consumer stand up? Is the international expansion pitch going to come out to fruition? And then the big debate at the end of the day is, it's still a private equity asset. What does that overhang look like?
I love Danny's point earlier that this is one of the few real-world IPOs, because most of the time we talk about, and you've broken a lot of news on SpaceX, Anthropic, and OpenAI. Can you talk to us about the magnitude of this IPO? And maybe just investor sentiment. Like, is it still exciting when it's not related to AI or data center?
It's funny because a year or two ago, if you said there's a $1 billion IPO, we all call it a blockbuster deal. Now we have 86 billion or 26.5 billion. This is still, again, with Blackstone selling, with some of the investors selling, targeting a $1 billion IPO. That is still scale. This is a company that the equity value, according to the filing, would be around $8 billion. That's a big company relative to the Kava, which is kind of the best comp that bullish investors like to use because of the growth story. It's still a big company. It's in an industry that, for all intents and purposes, could continue to grow. Not quite as sexy as AI, but there still is kind of a pitch to be made for it.